Good morning. Oh, what a fine Friday morning this is. It is bomber o'clock, says Henry. We are live. We are here. How is everybody doing? Friday morning. We are ready to go. Some people thought it might not happen. Some people thought we were going to sign Tony. Yesterday was a bit of a chaotic day, but we've woken up to the news this morning that Dominic Solanke is going to be a Tottenham Hotspur player. We've got the Orn bomb. Ornstein has dropped us the news. He's been quiet on this one. David Ornstein. But he has woken up. Good morning, everyone in the chat. I can see you here. Stephen, Henry, Joseph, Krish, Dutch, Adam, Austin, Coys McCoy's face, Arjun, Joseph again. Good morning, everybody. So, it's probably good morning to be a Tottenham fan, isn't it? Friday morning, wake up, little David Ornstein bomber. I'll be honest, I did not see this coming. I didn't think it'd accelerate this quickly. First of all, we've got to say Ben Jacobs in the mud. Alex Crook in the mud. And David Ornstein, you know, like I said, he stays quiet on these things. And then he comes when there's something to say. And oh boy, there is something to say. Oh boy. How is everybody feeling about this? Welcome in the chat. Right. Let's get into it then. So, in case you've missed this somehow, welcome to the stream. Make sure to like the stream, subscribe. Make sure to like the video as well if you're watching this afterwards. We are so back. I can see, says Pal Chich in the chat. Up the Spurs. David Ornstein has come up with the news this morning that Bournemouth have agreed to sell Dominic Solanke for a club record fee, and talks with Tottenham Hotspur continue to finalise transfer. Personal terms in place, and the 26-year-old striker is, say it with me, desperate to complete move from Bournemouth to Spurs. Look, I've been saying it. I said it the other day. I said it in a video the other day. He is the perfect fit for Spurs, and I'm very, very happy we've got this one over the line. Obviously, Duncan Castles, I think, broke this story maybe first, and Ornstein has backed it up. A very, very early morning Friday bomber. And look, we're doing an early stream today, 10 o'clock. Your man's a busy boy, and we've got to get this one. Was going to get this one done. Travis says was going to say good morning, but it's a great one. It is a great morning. Is there a better way to start a Friday morning than that? A nice little bomber. A nice little bomber to start off Friday morning. A David Ornstein bomber. An Orn bomb, if you like. A Solanke-shaped Orn bomb to kick off Friday morning. Spurs have gone big now. £65 million. It looks like a club record sale, certainly for Bournemouth. If we just... Oh, that's the wrong tab. Bear with me. If we just dig into the details a little bit more. Alistair Gold has also gone with this. Spurs are closing in on a deal with Bournemouth for Dominic Solanke. Spurs are closing on a deal with Bournemouth for Dominic Solanke. And plenty of positivity about getting the transfer sealed. As Postecoglou said to me in Korea, I think for us what's more important is the type of striker we get. You know, we play a certain way. We demand certain things from a physical perspective, from the technical aspects of it, and it's going to be a striker that fits that mould. It's still the area of the part we're really probably the thinnest in when I talk about squad-wise. So that's obviously a focus for us. Understand Solanke has shown a big desire to play for Spurs, and as in the quotes I put out again yesterday from the Postecoglou chat, that's a huge thing for the Australian. Solanke is going to be a major presence up front in his system with his pressing, his battling, his finishing. When I asked about Postecoglou about transfers in Japan, he said he was being patient and Spurs did not want to move away from the original targets he believed fitted his system best. Bournemouth have done everything they can to try and keep Solanke this window, but Spurs are now getting there. And of course, it's a day off for Alistair Gold. And if you know, you know. If you know, you know. A day off for Alistair Gold means that something is happening. Something is happening. So this looks like it's a done deal. And it's also Alistair Gold's birthday. So happy birthday to Alistair Gold. When you talk about the kind of original targets, if you go back to April, I remember this being reported. I remember there was a big kind of, around April time, as we were getting closer to the end of the season, there was a big sort of debate about Spurs' new striker. We were going to sign one. It looked like Richarlison was going to move on then, which meant we were going to bring someone in. And I remember Dominic Solanke then being someone that we were talked about. And again, Paul O'Keefe backed that up in May. So again, like people say that, okay, we haven't really got who we wanted, so it screams of a panic. I think Solanke has kind of been in the plan the whole time, really, to be honest. And, you know, these things don't always move in the way you'd expect them to. It doesn't always happen as quickly as you'd like. But to get a big deal like this done with, 3 weeks left of the window, I really don't think is a bad thing. So, look, we're done. We're done. Ronnie Jones says, your Solanke video is being posted around the biggest Spurs forum this morning, mate. Oh, class, lads. I appreciate that. That's lovely. Yeah, go and check that out. I did a video the other day on why I think he's the perfect fit. So that'd be massively appreciated if you go and give that a watch. Can Alistair Gold take the week off, says Sui. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Because we still got more to do. Look, this isn't done yet. Obviously, the Solanke deal isn't actually done. But it feels like it's getting there. But there's more to do for Spurs. And speaking of which, I'm going to do a stream. I was thinking about doing it this afternoon, but I think I might wait until Monday. Let me know what you think in the chat, lads. And look at this for a thumbnail, by the way. Will Hester. W's in the chat for Will Hester, by the way. Look at this. Look at that, all right? So what we're going to do is on maybe this afternoon or maybe on Monday, we're going to do a stream. And I sort of spoke about this, I think, the other day. We're going to do a stream where we essentially get the Tottenham squad and we're going to build the rest of the perfect transfer window for Tottenham in those. I know there's only a few targets left, but there's kind of a lot of business to sort out in terms of outgoing as well, in terms of players that can go on loan, in terms of, what we do with some of these squad players, which wing we bring in and stuff like that. And it's going to be a very interactive thing that we get you guys involved in the chat in terms of voting for certain positions and voting for certain players and what we do with them. I was thinking about doing it today, but I think just with this Solanke news kind of, and everything like that, and obviously we've done this stream this morning, I think we'll probably do this on Monday. But shout out to Will for this because I'm buzzing with this. But yeah, let me know if you're excited for that video. Like I said, it's going to be one that it's very interactive for you guys and kind of getting on voting in the chat and stuff like that. So make sure you subscribe to not miss that one. It's probably going to be Monday afternoon. But yeah, lads, Solanke looks like he's through the door. Tom Locke says Johnson Solanke link up in the double arrow celebration. I like it. I like it a lot. We'll come on and talk about Emerson because it's like London bus, isn't it? You wait for so long for something and then they both come at once. I called it the other day, and your guys have said I called it the other day in your comments that Ange probably had the chat with Solanke. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. I think Solanke, in terms of look, when you kind of go over this, and it's the fact that he's desperate to come, whether that's because obviously he wants that kind of move, is obviously part of it. But obviously he's probably had a chat with Postecoglou already, and I think he's probably been convinced that this is the right project for him, which is great. And again, we've spoken about Postecoglou before and the kind of the impact that he's had on these transfers, and the convincing that he's done. Look, I don't think Dominic Solanke would have needed much convincing to come to Tottenham. One, because I think a lot of clubs would have been interested in him this summer, but I think Spurs' interest was definitely the most concrete. So it's not like he would have had a load of options, but also I don't think he would have needed much convincing to join Postecoglou's project. But I think Postecoglou's chat with him in the sense of, you're going to be the perfect striker for me and all this kind of stuff. Like, we want you because we feel like you're going to be perfect for the system, etc., etc. I think this is great. I think it's such a good move. It's a great move for him. Obviously, it's a lot of money, but like I said, Ndombele is not our record transfer anymore, which counts for something. And I think he's worth the money. I do think he's worth the money in the sense that of how effective he could be in the system. Look, the market is crazy, right? The striker market especially is crazy. The transfer market especially is crazy when you look at some of these prices going. So I don't think people should get too hung up on the fee. I don't think people should get too hung up on the fee because it's what Spurs clearly want. It's what Postecoglou clearly want. And I think the importance to the system... Let me just put my coffee over here. The importance to the system outweighs kind of the fee. And look, is it a risk? I don't think it's a risk, particularly, to be honest. When you look at the goals that he delivered for Bournemouth last season, again, like people will say one good season. That's kind of a myth I try to dispel in my YouTube video, which, like I said, please feel free to go and give that a watch. We're very close to closing on 3K subscribers now. You can see that I did my Tottenham predictions yesterday as well for the season. And I actually, I'm not going to say who I had as my top scorer, but you might be able to tell from the thumbnail. And also that video, why Solanke is a perfect fit for Tottenham. So please go and give those two a watch. That'd be massively appreciated. And also, guys, I want to Just on the subject of this video, like I said, in terms of getting you guys involved in the chat and voting, etc. Oh, hang on, the doggy wants to come in. There he is. He's come to celebrate the Solanke news with me. What we're going to do is I'm going to do a video next week on the channel getting you guys to send me your Spurs predictions basically for the season with the same categories that I've done, but also kind of any rogue shouts, like any kind of out there shouts that you want to put out there, like your hot takes, and I'm going to react to them for a video for next week. So make sure you do that. I'll be putting a tweet out next week for you guys to get involved in. And he's come and he's gone. See you later, Dexter. But yeah, lads, looks like it's happening. Solanke. Again, if there's anything else that happens in the stream, that we get any more update, please let me know. But let's go to some of your comments. And like I said, guys, if you're not watching this live, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. But also get your comments in and get your thoughts in on the Solanke transfer as well. Obviously, we've chatted about it a lot, but it's definitely moved on. Let's go to some of your comments then. So Tom Locke says, can you imagine Tony convincing Angie's all in? That's a good point. I do think maybe the personality with Tony. Look, I don't want to discredit Tony's character or personality because despite what's gone on with him in the past, I don't necessarily think that's particularly fair. So yeah, I don't really want to get into that because we've got our man and there's no point. But I hear you. I see where you're coming from, Tom. Archie, we'll come on to that, Archie, when we look ahead to the Bayern game. What we can also do, I didn't actually plan to do it, but what we can do is we can do a little predicted 11 maybe for the Bayern game if you like, and sort of the 11 you'd like to see. Let me just get that quickly sorted. But yeah, guys, make sure to like and subscribe and all that good stuff. Just while I quickly get this up. That's its board. Yeah, we can do that, guys. We can, because I'll be honest, I kind of forgot it was tomorrow. And also, let me know in the chat if who's going to the Bayern game. In the comments, obviously Harry Kane and Eric Dyer's return. We spoke on the stream yesterday about the commemorative gifts that they will receive ahead of kickoff, I believe, which will be interesting. It'll be interesting to see if Harry Kane does any sort of speech or anything like that. Who knows what's going to happen? We'll come on to this a little bit later. Let me just get the players in place so we can come back to it. Because there was a comment there from Archie, who shares the same name as the player that he's concerned about in the 6th role. We'll come back to that in a little bit. But look, guys, Solanke, done deal, it looks like. We're getting there. We are getting there. In the chat then, let's go to some more of your comments. Sue, will you not be live on TikTok? No, mate, I'll be at the game tomorrow. I think Solanke has a bit more to his game than Tony, says Bones. As long as Ange wanted him, I back him all the way. Bones, mate, it's a great attitude. Karupu says bring Tony and Eze. We'll come on and talk about Richarlison, but there's no way that Tony comes to Spurs now. The chat convinced Ange, not the other way around. I don't think so. I think they clearly identified Solanke as one of the men that they wanted. Stephen McCabe says Sky Sports News have said they reckon Richarlison won't be able to get much game time. I don't buy into that at all. There's going to be a lot of game time for Richie next year. Gary says he's had a 46-game season, 33 and a 38-game season back-to-back, playing high-octane football. That is so important in one of the most intense pressing sides in the league behind Spurs as well. For Bournemouth, I think they've had the 4th lowest PPDA in the Premier League last year, passes per defensive action, which kind of is the stat used to measure your pressing ability. So yeah, that's very true. Ben said, has the fee been confirmed? It doesn't. I don't. That's a good question. There was talk about. There was talk about 65 million, and it being Bournemouth's record sale. Ben here he is, Ben Jacobs, after yesterday. Tottenham now in advanced talks with Bournemouth over a club record move for Dominic Solanke. Solanke has a £65 million release clause in his contract, and Bournemouth have determined to hold out for as close to that figure as possible. Spurs hopeful for an agreement with negotiations ongoing. So it doesn't sound like it's going to be... doesn't sound like it's going to necessarily be the whole release clause. It might just be under that. But it's going to be a club record fee. Whether that's the Ornstein tweet is quite confusing. I don't know whether he means a club record fee for Bournemouth in terms of a sale or a club record signing. He's back again. Come on, mate. Come and sit with me. Or whether he means a club record fee in terms of a transfer incoming for Tottenham. Come on. He's come to celebrate the Solanke news. There he is, the boy. So yeah, we shall see what happens, and I'm sure we'll have a fee confirmed in the next. I mean, I reckon we're probably going to get Here We Go on this in the next 24 hours, I'd say. Gary Hunter said Ben Jacobs and Alex Crook have been getting played by Tony's agent so badly. Yeah, it does feel a bit like that. Different scenery, says Archie. I've been, as you know, I've been dog sitting for the little man all week at my parents, and in the first few Monday to Wednesday I was in the kitchen, but they're back now, and it was easier to spend a few more days at home. So I'm in the office at home, but normal scenery will resume from next week. Ben said I saw it as a Bournemouth record sale. Okay, so maybe it won't be Spurs' record signing then. I think it means club record sale, as otherwise he would have said Tottenham agreed to club record fee. Yeah, you're right, Travis. Yeah. Bournemouth's record fee is 45 million for Ake. Okay, so yeah. But look, we've got a few things to celebrate. One being Solanke, and one being Ben Jacobs and Alex Crook in the mud. So, and they've teamed up on it together as well. You love to see it. Right, lads. Okay, let's move on then. Just going back to the glorious tweet from yesterday from Alex Crook there. Tottenham have not opened talks with AFC Bournemouth re Dominic Solanke. I don't think that this is how wide of the mark there must be, because there's no way you go from not being in talks to where was the tweet? You don't go from not being in talks to have agreed to sell within the space of less than 24 hours. Like, that just doesn't happen. So oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Have we got that? There's a lot of here we goes in the chat. Apparently there was some frustration in Bournemouth quarters that Spurs have waited all summer to formalise their interest in Solanke. There's talk of here we go in the chat. No, I've been done. There is some frustration in Bournemouth's quarters that Spurs have waited all summer to formalise their interest in Solanke, particularly given the 24-25 season kicks off in just 1 week's time. Unlucky boys. I'm tempted to say that I'm more happy about the Emerson. Should we talk about Emerson? Should we leave Solanke for now? Should we talk? We've talked about Solanke for about 20 minutes. Should we talk about Emerson? One thing I want to talk about Solanke before we move on. One thing I want to talk about is this. Spurs have finally got strikers to actually compete with each other. Look, they're not a patch on these two, right? Berbatov and Keane, and obviously chuck the phone into that mix as well. But we've got two strikers to actually compete, lads. We're back. But yeah, very, very happy with that. That's very risky. That's risky. Because what I wanted to talk about was this. What number is he going to be, lads? We talked about this on the stream the other day, obviously quite preemptively because he hadn't signed by that point. There's over 229 people in the chat now, so make sure you like and subscribe if you're buzzing about Dominic Solanke, just like I am. Feeling very positive, THFC Kako. Yeah, mate. We sold Kane before the day the season started, so I'm sure they'll cope. Yeah, I agree, Ben. Steve Gent says, very happy with Solanke, homegrown and low risk compared to Gyökeres. People were saying, okay, people are getting mixed up with Emerson. We'll come and talk about Emerson. Right, Solanke's number. I think it's going to be 19 because obviously it would be number 9 if Richarlison was going to leave, but obviously, as we'll come on and talk about, we know that's not happening. Other Spurs striker numbers in the past have been 18. Obviously, we talked about Jermaine Defoe on the stream the other day. 18 is a number synonymous kind of with Spurs' strikers in the past. But Lo Celso, the little pesky Lo Celso is just holding on to that number. And he's not going to be, I think he was 29, I think maybe, when he was at Liverpool. But obviously, Pap Sarr's got that. Doesn't feel like there's going to be too many number changes now for Spurs, given the fact that we're getting closer to the season and stuff. So I reckon it'll be 19. What do we reckon in the chat? 19, are we saying? 11? What, are they holding out for a winger? Let Solanke take Maddison's number. I don't really like strikers at 10 though, do you know what I mean? Unless it's like a Harry Kane where it's like he's a bit of a playmaker. 1 + 9 = 10 equals next Harry Kane. Great shout. That's why it should be 19. You can't have Solanke as 11, lads. Come on. Because where... Oh, I've lost what I was going to say. I've lost it. I had a tweet. Oh, no. Gary Jacob, yeah, Spurs also want to sign a winger along with Solanke. So surely 11 is getting reserved for a winger. Surely 11 is getting reserved for a winger. So hopefully, Neto 11, that looked quite good, wouldn't it? That would look quite good. He's obviously 7 at Wolves. That would be lovely. But we'll see what happens with the winger. Obviously, that seems like it's next up on the agenda for Tottenham. It looks like Manuel Solomon is going. We'll run through these bits quite quickly before we move on to some more of the juicy stuff. Obviously, last night, there was a few Bournemouth striker links that kind of came about for Bournemouth that was like, okay, this feels like it's got legs now. And obviously, they're trying to hijack Stuttgart's move for Atalanta striker Torre. So, yesterday, we obviously over the last few days, we had a lot of chat about Richarlison. This broke from Tom Barkley yesterday, and obviously Tom Barkley is a journalist from the Sun, and we know the Sun's kind of unreliability, but he's actually quite reliable when it comes to Tottenham. Usually, I'm pretty sure he is the Tottenham guy. He said yesterday that Tottenham's signing of any new forward, e.g. Solanke, would not be dependent on Richarlison's sale, which isn't necessarily the news we heard the other day. I believe there was a report, maybe it might have been from Gary Jacob, that said that Spurs were probably going to use the funds from Richarlison to sign Solanke. But obviously that's not happening now because Richie lad is staying. I am at home, he said. After he maybe dropped the coldest line of the transfer window. Saudi Arabia, the money is high, but my dream is bigger. Saudi Arabia, the money is high, but my dream is bigger. And look, I know Richarlison splits opinion amongst the fan base, but this is great. I think this is great. Like I said, we've got two strikers that one can actually compete with each other. Richarlison, obviously, the issue is fitness, whether he can stay fit. That is a massive part of it. But again, having another proper number 9 kind of eases those concerns a little bit. And I think, look, hopefully this doesn't affect Spurs' pursuit of a winger too much. That is potentially a worry for me, maybe in terms of that money. But Spurs should not be having to be reliant on the sale of Richarlison to fund that winger with the amount of money that we bring in terms of the various revenue streams at the club, with the deadwood that we've kind of shifted this summer. So yeah. This was great from Richarlison yesterday, and I think he's really kind of fired up ahead of the new season. Obviously, we haven't seen him in pre-season yet. Get him fit, get him right, get him competing with Solanke. Finally, a bit of depth in that striker position, which, like I said at the start, when you go back to those quotes from Alistair Gold with that interview with Postecoglou, to me, with him saying this a week or so ago, it always felt like Richarlison was maybe going to stay because he said, like I said, it's still the area of the park we're probably most thinnest when I talk about squad wise. So that's obviously a focus for us. So I think the plan was probably, I think it was maybe Tom Barkley yesterday who actually said, apologies for going all over the place a little bit here, but I just remembered this. Is that my understanding on Richarlison is that Tottenham will be open to selling for the right price, but the signing of any new forward would not be dependent on the Brazilian sale. So I think if Spurs were offered the money for Richarlison, obviously they'd consider it. And I think maybe if another offer does come in, like, I'm not saying Spurs aren't going to consider it, but it doesn't seem like Richarlison is going anywhere. And I think to kind of turn down that crazy lucrative money, because I think there's a longer quote where, let me see if I can find it, where he actually said that like offers have come in that he's kind of already basically turned down. Hopefully this is the case. Carly, I'm with you. I think it was a longer quote, but I can't remember where it was. No, maybe not. They can never make me hate you. They can never make me hate you, Richie. I think there was a longer quote where he basically almost said that he kind of like turned down offers potentially already. So he's obviously desperate to stay at Spurs. and prove himself. And look, maybe someone said in the chat there. Someone said in the chat there. Where was it? Bone Judo says, I just hope Richie doesn't throw his dummy out the pram and be a bad egg in the camp if it's his choice to stay. Then he needs to fight for a starting place if he's not starting. If he's not starting, not whinging. Yeah, I agree. Look, I think it's. I don't want to really. I find it difficult to comment on kind of Richarlison and obviously the kind of his. The kind of psychology of it all, because obviously he struggled a hell of a lot. And look, I actually think with this kind of mindset that he's in right now, that's what we want. This is what we want from Richarlison. This is what we want. We want him finding that within himself to be like, no, I'm going to compete with that number 9. Look, this is obviously, he didn't know that we were going to sign Solanke, but look, I think it could be the best thing for him. I do think it could be the best thing for him. But we shall see. Look, we're not going to know until we know, right? And I think it could be. Sorry if I'm getting distracted because someone else has just said about here we go for Solanke, but I keep getting done, lads. Make sure to go and follow me on Twitter, nearly at 3k followers. So yeah, I think on Richie, look, this could be what he needs, that real competition to sort of fire him up to make sure that he can stay fit. Again, look, it's his body. Look, it's a lot of stuff that he can't control a lot of the time. It's like these players don't get injured on purpose. It's just very unfortunate with what's happened with Richarlison, because like I said, when he did play for us last season, he was incredibly effective in those games. Hayden says, as a Bournemouth fan, be excited about Solanke. He offers so much more than poaching the box. His hold-up play is great, and he offers great positivity in the aggression room. I'm going to miss him. Again, it's a bit like, appreciate that, mate. Like, it's a bit like when we signed Archie Gray. Like, you know what the kind of almost the reference is going to be, I suppose, from the selling club. And I think the Bournemouth fans are going to be very glowing about Solanke. So yeah, I hear that, mate. I hear that, and it definitely seems like Bournemouth fans are gutted about letting him go. Stu says, just run home from Morrison's. Can you boys wait, mate? We can't wait for the bomber. We can't. If it lands on our lap, we've got to go for it, mate. Archie Parker says, why aren't we signing a left centre back that's fast like Van der Ven? We paid the price for the high line last season when he was out. I don't think they'll sign a left centre back this summer. I do think they'll sign a left back potentially. Gary Hunter says the club must hate how open Richarlison is about transfers. It's not really ideal, but it's I think you've got to appreciate the fact that he wears his heart on his sleeve. And Ross Davis says, did Richarlison actually get injured in any game last season? I think that's the frustrating thing a lot of the time. Like a lot of these injuries weren't in games. A lot of them were in training and stuff. So look, fingers crossed that Richarlison can keep himself fit. But we've got another striker now that we can actually rotate and compete them together and play them together. Or not necessarily play them together, but I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm going all over the place. I'm just excited about Solanke, right? But yeah, lads. Big news. Big news. So Solanke in, Richarlison stays. Emerson Royal, my sweet prince, it's finally time to say goodbye. Just have a moment of silence in the chat, please, with respect. Because, yeah, this one hits hard. Thoughts and prayers with Billy T right now. Okay? If anyone's got a candle, if anyone's got a lighter, put it up for this man. Because he's brought us some of the best memories we've ever had in our life at this football club. Sorry. The no-look pass against Sporting Lisbon. The red card against Arsenal after the TikTok dance. Just sorry. Okay. Emerson Royal to AC Milan. Here we go. Deal in place for a total package in excess of 15 million euros from Spurs. Agreement with Emerson reached in May. Been going on since May. As the only one in Milan, despite 4 or 5 proposals, travel being planned as Emerson leaves Tottenham and joins the Milan project. Good luck to him. Genuinely good luck to him. Not anywhere near as bad as people made out. And look, some might say look, he's kind of failed upwards. But good luck to him. Look, Emerson Royal will be a good defender for AC Milan. And honestly, good luck to him. Never anywhere near as bad as people made out. Look, he had some terrible games He had some very good games for Spurs. So we say goodbye. I believe Alistair Gold has actually said that it's not quite there. He's almost said that, okay, hold your horses on the here we go. But I'll be honest, I'm running with this. I'm running with this at this point because happy birthday, Alistair Gold. Talks on going between Milan and Spurs over Emerson Royal. It's your day off, Alistair. What are you doing? Not quite done yet, but finally appears to be moving that way. Finally. Look, this is what's going on with Spurs in terms of that rebuild. Look, if you go through, if we go back to this quickly, obviously this was the squad from last year, but Reguilon on the way out, Skip potentially on the way out, Richarlison staying, Maddison, Emerson on the way out, you know, new faces in Gray and Bergvall, Werner in, Lo Celso potentially on the way out, obviously Solanke in there as well, Solomon on the way out looks like, Alea Valiz obviously gone, you know, this rebuild at Spurs is moving along nicely now. Look, we're not done in this market, we need more. We do need more, but we're moving in the right direction in terms of getting players in and out. And look, sometimes I know people get frustrated about the kind of how late the business has almost been done, but look, it's the 9th of August, lads. Look, it's my girlfriend's birthday tomorrow, and I always put a check mark in the calendar. Look, that's when you need to start doing business around that sort of time, right? You know, 10th of August. Look to the missus and say, "Who do you think Spurs are going to sign?" And she says, "I don't care. It's my birthday." I'm like, fair enough. So, yeah. I in terms of, obviously, incomings, obviously, that winger is needed, 100%. But I think in terms of outgoings, when you actually look at how long there is left of the window, there's actually quite a lot of time to do a lot of these deals now. It always feels a little bit more rushed because you're desperate to get these players in, and obviously, like, fans want transfers. But I don't necessarily think there should be this panic about getting players out the door because there's actually a lot of time to do that now, and we've done quite a lot of it already. So Jack Lane says, "I wonder if Emerson going will affect Richie." Potentially. But look, it's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out with Richie. But hopefully everything is all good. And I think what's nice about, if we just jump back to Richarlison for a sec, I think what's good about this is that, especially with Solanke coming in, the fans have been satisfied with the striker purchase. The fans are happy because we've got 2 strikers now that can actually play and compete with each other. I think, obviously, you saw how well the fans got behind Richarlison last season when, obviously, he was going through his difficult spell in terms of his mental health, etc. And he was very open and honest and brave about that, which is incredibly commendable. Look, there's a lot of guys in this chat, a lot of young men, that is kind of an example to everyone, really, in terms of that. So I think the fans got behind him, and I think this, as coupled alongside the Solanke signing, which has satisfied the fan base, I think the fans will really be behind Richie to succeed, and I actually think it might take the pressure off him a little bit. So I think it could work quite well for Richie. So we shall see. We shall see. Over 300 people in here, lads. Massively appreciate you guys getting involved in the streams. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to like the stream as well. It massively helps me out. Look, I know I ask quite a lot sometimes for you to do that, but it's free and it massively helps me out. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you're new to these, over the transfer window, I've been doing these daily in the mornings. I stream on YouTube after the games as well. And usually the day after, we break down the game from a tactical aspect. So make sure you subscribe for that. And there's going to be a lot of content coming over the next few weeks. Like I said, on YouTube yesterday, I did my Tottenham predictions for the season. And there's going to be a video next week where I react to yours. So go and give that a watch. Go and get yours in the comments. Send your predictions to me on Twitter. Go and give a watch of the Solanke video as well, if you haven't already. And again, massively appreciate the support on that one. Now, that's pretty much it in terms of the big news for today. So let's go to the chat, see what you guys are saying. There are a few more things I want to talk about, including this, by the way. FC25, Ange Postecoglou's face scan. What was going on there? That's Chad Postecoglou. Give me 10,000 beers, am I right? Let's just have a quick check of Twitter. Fonseca and Emerson together at last. Parati's master plan unfolding before our eyes. yeah, let's just see if there's anything else going on. Again, like I said, guys, keep me involved in the chat. Game tomorrow, big game, Tottenham against Bayern Munich. Let me know if you're going to be there in the chat. I will be there. Very much looking forward to it. Be very interesting to see the team is going to play. We'll go through that actually in a minute. We'll go through that in a minute. One thing I wanted to talk about quickly is I put this tweet out last night. Obviously talking about the winger. So I tweeted this out and I made a TikTok about this as well. And also just quickly before I go that, sorry for the little plug. Very, very close to 30k followers on TikTok. So make sure you go and follow me over there. At 28k now. So getting close to 30. Now I can't find my Twitter. Here it is. I said, remember last summer when Spurs looked like they were going to sign Ansu Fati on loan and it fell through? There'll be a winger we get linked with to sign on loan near the end of the window that looks like it's going to happen for 24 hours but falls through. Any guesses? Get some guesses in the chat of who you think this could be, because I think this will probably happen. I think there'll be a winger that Spurs look like they're going to sign for about 24 hours on loan and it doesn't, it just falls through. I've got this feeling. And anyone that follows me on TikTok will know who I said. But while you're getting your guesses in, let's go to the chat. I'll be there for my second Spurs game where you sit in. I'll be in the South Stand, mate. Aryan says, how long do you think it will take to get the Solanke deal done? I think it'll be done in the next sort of 24 hours. Harry said, it's your missus' birthday. You're going to watch pre-season friendly. Mate, that's the dedication. We had a chat about it, right? We've been together for 4 or 5 years, you know. It's like, she was fine with it. It's Harry Kane coming back in it. I sat her down and said, look, listen, babes, all right? You know, it's Harry Kane coming back. Do you want to come with me? She said no. But we've got plans, don't worry. I'm taking her out for dinner tonight. We're doing some nice things over the weekend, so don't you worry about that, son. Okay, a lot of guesses in the chat here. Sane, Bakayoko, Pedro Neto. I mean, Pedro Neto I think will be linked with for the rest of the window, to be honest. I'm not saying we're going to get a winger on loan. I'm just saying that I would not be surprised if we get like Ansu Fati 2.0. Marcus Edwards. Kingsley Coman is the one. Coman is the one who I said about in the TikTok yesterday, because he's apparently buying open to let him go on loan with an optional obligation to buy. So yeah, for me, I think it's Coman. I'm not saying Coman's going to happen. So yeah, I don't think Coman's going to happen, but I think Kingsley Coman is Tottenham's Ansu Fati for this year. I do think that. It won't happen. It looked like it might happen for 24 hours. Why Coman? Just because this might be putting two and two together and making 5, right? But he's been linked with move away on loan with an optional obligation to buy. Probably won't happen, but who knows? Yeah, shouts for Chiesa. I think the Chiesa thing is dead in the water. Ferran Torres is not a bad shout. Someone said João Felix. Not a bad shout. Yeah, not a bad shout. Tim says, where are you going for dinner? I'm going to Annexo, mate. Hartford. Big up Hertfordshire. Big up. I don't know why I said big up Hertfordshire. Who's got better Riz, you or Ange? Probably me, I reckon. I think it's close. Ange's got more aura, I think, though. Like I said, if you look at, like, if this guy comes up to you in a bar, if this guy comes up to you in a bar, where has it gone? I just had it a minute ago. Oh, I think I just lost it. Fuck. Just imagine I was talking about the picture of Ange from FC25. If he comes up to you in a bar, you're not turning that down. He says, buy a drink. You can't say no to that, man, can you? That's Chad Postecoglou right there. Now for the 6 in the right wing. I don't think a number 6 is happening this summer. Who could drink more beers in 1 hour, Ange or you? Depends on the setting, I think. I reckon if it's like sunny pub garden, I reckon I could do him. But I reckon if you're like, you know, if he's, or actually maybe I don't feel like Ange is like kind of comfortable like in a pub environment. So I reckon I could outdo him there. But like a barbecue, I reckon like a mythos or something, an ice cold mythos, while he's kind of just grilling the prawns or the sausages. I think he's smoking you every day of the week, to be honest. So I think he could probably drink more beers than me. But I'd love to have a competition with him on who could have the most. I'd love to go to a barbecue with Postecoglou. That'd be class, wouldn't it? Which would be unreal. Anyway, Let's talk about let's talk about this. Obviously, we quickly touched on the Solomon thing. I just do hope he goes. Sorry, I do. There was a good interview. So we'll do this, and then we'll quickly do a predicted 11 maybe for the Bayern game before we finish. Because I've got to go and have my haircut soon. So I hope you appreciate that, guys. Bissouma did a very good interview with the BBC. One of the coaches from talking about Postecoglou, he said he's one of the best coaches in the world. As a coach, he's top, and as a human, he's unbelievable. He's like a dad for us. And he said, I'm playing my best football with him. Link to the full piece here. He said, we're working really hard for him. He said, he's one of the best coaches in the world. As a coach, he's a top human. He's unbelievable. He's like a dad for us. We're working hard for him and really enjoy spending our time with him. We're working and going again and again. We'll see where it takes us. I'm playing my best football with him, and he's given me the opportunity to do that. He's given me confidence and happiness. It's amazing for me, and I'm really happy to be playing for him, but there was also more to come. He talks about the goal against QPR that we know that Ange said it's only a pre-season friendly, Biss. He said it was a good goal, good for my confidence, but it was just a pre-season game. I'm trying to get more assists and score more goals to make my team win. The most important thing is trying to make my team win and playing how the coach wants, whether I score or not. He also talked about Archie Gray and Lucas Bergvall, and I said this in a video the other day. I think Bissouma and Bergvall have actually struck up quite a good relationship on the pitch already. He said that that coaching may also benefit in Archie Gray and Lucas Bergvall. He said, I love them. They are fantastic, amazing footballers and so mature. They don't look the way they are. As one of the oldest men in the changing room, my role is to show the best example. They are going to be top. And then he talked about a top four finish. He said, we just want to be ready to fight again. And we know how hard the Premier League is. We don't want to talk too much about we want to work and be ready for the season. The objective stays between us. And we're just working hard to have a great season this year. Love it. Lovely stuff. I think Bissouma is going to be a big player for us this year. I think, again, it's just about finding that consistency with him. And like I said, I think in a video the other day, I think with Bissouma, I think a lot of it is mental. I do think a lot of it is kind of mental in terms of finding that confidence and kind of being able to showcase that on the pitch. So yeah, this is a nice little read from Bissouma this morning. And to end, we will do a little bit of a predicted 11 for the Bayern game. We can sort of all do this together, guys, in the chat. Just read some comments quickly first. Would you let Ange do unspeakable things to you while whispering coys? Probably, to be fair. West Ham done well to get to the Evo. They have indeed. Yeah, it's a good signing. Hijack from Uwe. Reckon we'll get late links for a Sancho loan. Ben, that is a very good shout, I reckon, mate. That is a very good shout. Bones says, I think the youngsters will impress Ange so much that he's already interested in a striker now. What's the dog called? Dexter, the boy. Right, Shan? What are your thoughts on Solanke? What are your thoughts, Shan? Ross Davis says, I will try getting Gomez from Liverpool. He'll probably want to go somewhere where he will start. I don't think. So, yeah, I don't. Why would we get? We don't need a centre back yet, in my opinion. Like I said, I think one thing that's worth bearing in mind with where we're at with Ange at the moment, and he's sort of spoken about this, is that this can't all be done in one transfer window. It just can't. And I think the priority is obviously getting that striker and that winger in and bolstering those attacking options, and then see if there's any opportunities on the market. So, look, this isn't a one transfer window thing. So I'll be calm on the centre back and the six. Archie says you haven't spoken about Gray and the six. We'll talk about that now. What do you guys want to see tomorrow? Obviously, there won't be. We'd love to put Solanke there, but we can't. I do think it will probably be this front three again. I think there's a good chance we see whether he'll play Gray or not, whether he'll give Romero and Van der Ven minutes, whether they'll be on the bench. What do you guys think? I genuinely think it could be this. I think maybe we'll see Bissouma start. What do we think? What do you guys think in the chat? Like what you think we'll see for the starting 11 tomorrow? Because I don't think he's going to start Bentancur. I don't think he's going to start. He might start Romero and Van der Ven, but maybe he'll ease them in the second half. Maybe he'll bring them off the bench. I do think they'll play minutes. But we shall see. Get Harry Kane on at half time. Get him swap sides. Good shout. What do we reckon, guys? I think it could be quite close to this. But it'll be. Do you think it'll be fair? Do you think it'll be? Do we think it'll be this? Do we think he'll go with? I mean, Destiny Udogie is back training, but obviously he hasn't played a minute yet. So I think Udogie will be on the bench. Obviously, Romero and Van der Ven are kind of sharper because they've had that football over the summer, and obviously they're back training. So maybe, do you think he'll get as close to? Do you think he'll get as close to the Leicester game? Get as close to the starting 11 that he wants for Leicester in this game. So maybe something like that. Potentially. I'd like to see Bergvall start as well, mate. Yeah, I would as well. I'm really excited to see. But I think I said it in my stream on Sunday last week, after the Bayern first game, that I think Bergvall is going to be one of those players that gets even better when you watch him actually live. Doggy will play for Arsenal, is my guess. What do you mean? I think it will be the usual back line. I don't think a Doggy will start. Tomorrow. So yeah, we shall see what happens. But lads, very much looking forward to the game tomorrow. Like I said, this stream will be on Monday probably. I don't think I'm going to do it this afternoon, just because of time and stuff like that. So that'll probably be on Monday. And yeah, massively appreciate all you guys joining in as usual. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to like the stream, like the video as well. If you're watching this afterwards, thank you all so much for getting involved. And let's just have a look one more time, shall we, at the news that Dominic Solanke is going to be a Tottenham Hotspur player. Just great stuff, isn't it? Just really great stuff. Great way to end the stream. Spurs are closing on a deal for Solanke. But yeah, nice one, lads. Have a good Friday. Have a good weekend. I will see you on stream on Sunday after the Bayern game. And yeah, if you're at the game tomorrow, see you for a beer. Up Spurs.